Welcome back. I'm Tedward, and today on this very special day, we're driving a 2006 Ford GT. It's got a 5.4 liter supercharged V8 making 560 horsepower and about 500 pound-feet of torque that is available way down low due to the forced induction. This is one of the most beautiful and iconic vehicles ever built, and I am so excited to share the sights, sounds, and driving experiences with you today. I got to admit, I was a little surprised when I saw the curb weight came in at just shy of 3,500 pounds. For a very bizarre reference point, my Civic Si is about 2,900 pounds. I know, you're never going to compare the two, but just for the sake of comparison, a 350Z is around 3,100 pounds. So this actually isn't tremendously light. However, it's got plenty of power to back it up. Now, of course, this generation of the Ford GT was designed and built to commemorate the GT40, the Le Mans winning Ferrari beating monster from the 1960s. And if you've seen Ford versus Ferrari, the shape should look really familiar to you. But if you haven't, this is not something you see on the road very often. This is very rare, and I'm really excited to share it with you today. Gluing it to the road, up front, we've got a 235 front section tire, and in the back, a 315. We have no traction control, all the torque in the world, and a mid-engine platform that just wants to bite. I'll be honest, this is a very intimidating car for me to drive just because I have seen them crash before. It's not pretty. The doors open with the roof. It's pretty wild. You've got to be careful getting in and out not to bop your head on that because you don't look cool when you get injured getting in and out. And to open the rear hatch, we've got a little lever up on the roof here. That pops up. And then fairly inconveniently, we've got to get two latches out. So we'll do this one first, and then assuming you've got no watches or rings to do damage, you can reach across and do the other one, and up we go. Then on struts, this pops up, revealing our mid-engine power plant. This is great because you can see the rear rubber. I'm sure this gets really dirty if you're driving in the rain, like Thomas and James from Throttle House. But today we've got a beautiful dry day. There's our monster supercharger sitting up on top, giving us power as we ask for it with the pedal. And it just looks so cool. This is the ultimate car show car because you can roll up, open this wild door with the roof, and then there's the engine sitting back here. This one, I believe, has a modified exhaust, and you can see it poking out in the back. To open the fuel door, we've got to go key in, turn, and pop. And there it is. There's our fuel door, 91 plus octane. I think we would stick with 93 in this one. And there you go. Definitely a thirsty car. I've already burned quite a lot of fuel. To open the frunk, I believe, and I'm not going to test it out, I'm going to close that, do the same thing here, and then we'll go ahead and pop this open. Now there's not much room for storage up here. We do have windscreen washer fluid up here if you do need to fill that up, but this is certainly not for real storage. And I don't know how hot things get, but I can tell the cooling system and fans are up here, so you might want to be careful if you're going to the grocery store for some Ben & Jerry's not to melt it in there. But my goodness, how cool does this look with the front and the rear hatch up? This is so wild. Enough chit chat. Let's start it up and go for a drive. To start the GT, we get our key in our ignition here. Love to see a big push to start button. We'll give her a little rev. We've got engine temp, oil pressure's good. All right. Absolute beast. Let's listen to this from outside. And look at this diffuser. Oh, it's so race car. I love that we've got this rear glass to expose that engine bay. Beautiful stuff. Nice and easy to get into though, because we don't have a roof above us. All right, let's close this door. Got to be careful of your head. Behind you, you can see that supercharger pulley just beyond the glass. It's pretty cool to be able to see that when you turn around, but you also see it in the rear view mirror. We've got a 6-speed manual gearbox, a little bit of storage right here, but not much. Let's get a little feel for it off the line. Incredible. Wow, there's quite a bit more traction than I expected. I always thought of these as really slippery cars where the rear end just wants to step out on you. But in fact, this is actually even more stable and planted feeling than the Dodge Viper that I drove. And that thing was an absolute menace to society. Let's get this out to some more interesting roads. Feel on and off throttle that it is just an absolute hoon and that it's ready to dance with your foot. If we're really pushing it, I mean, I can tell even coming off throttle there that it wants to bring that rear end around. That's why these things seem so sketchy, because I do think that they've got a real snappy character. You've got to be careful. People love it. People love it. The clutch catch is a little higher than I anticipated, and I know it's not just this car because I've actually heard other folks say that. So I guess maybe I didn't anticipate it, but you know, in reality, it's true. So you got to think a little bit. But other than that, everything about this car just feels so raw and intuitive. Super responsive throttle. Oh my goodness, I'm in heaven. I want this. Is it crazy to say that it's not as fast in a straight line as I expected it to be? I know that sounds nuts. It is a quick car. We're so spoiled with things today. Everything is crazy fast. This is 0 to 60 in about 3.3, 3.4 seconds. And that is not slow. And it feels fast because of just the rawness of this platform. But we are in a world where a 911 Turbo feels safe as heck and gets off the line in about 2.5, you know? But you gotta work for it in this car, but you don't have to work for it quite as hard as a Viper. I will say, the refinement level on this is up there. It's definitely up there. And just driving it normally, fourth gear, I mean, fourth gear is a stretch here at like 42 miles an hour. We're at like 1600 RPM. This is Eco Saver mode. It's really not beating me up at all though. It's amazing. Like, this suspension is actually street tuned. I didn't expect that. I thought this thing was going to be just so brutally harsh. My 911 is harsher than this car. I mean, it is a modified 911, but whew, this is like easy to drive. It feels right at home out here. We've of course got the side airbag cover by Carroll Shelby. Now, I will say a side airbag cover feels a bit ominous. I think we'll take it as a good luck charm, but it could be a bad omen as well. It's just a good reminder that what you're driving was blessed by Carroll Shelby, who's basically a crazy person, and you know, put some wild stuff out into the world. You got to be aware of what you're driving. You've got to keep your wits about you. You want to make sure you've got your blood sugar in check when you're driving. Don't drive hungry. even trying, it's up to speed. I mean, this is just insane. Second gear at 60. Pretty nuts. The speedo over here, little difficult to read just because it's really out there. So you don't, but you know, I got the tack. That's really all I want and need. Do a little pull from about 60 in second gear. That's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Top gear, 2,000 RPM at 80. Bit of a blind spot over here. Typical mid-engine madness. Thin little mirrors. You just do your best. Doesn't take much throttle to get this thing working hard. Really nice on the turn in. I'm being gentle because, you know, it's for sale. Incredible. It's so easy to drive. It's just wild how long these gears are, because instead of like a short snappy thing, it's like just going for speed, speed, speed. You stay in these gears for so long. If I could make a request for a little change to this car, I think I would want the brakes to just be a little stronger. That could just be as much as a pad material though. Big Ultima energy right there, outrunning the Ford GT. I think it would take me a little bit of time to get real comfortable with this car mid-corner on throttle, you know. Today's not the day. Today's the day where I'm going to put a few miles on it, we're going to enjoy it a little bit, but we're not going to put ourselves or the car at risk. Oh, what's so cool about this thing is that you can just drive it normally. It feels normal. I can't believe it feels normal. Like, it doesn't even feel too low. I actually feel safer in this as far as like injuring it than an Aventador. Like, I actually feel this is a very drivable supercar. Can't believe that's the first time I've said supercar in this video. This is a damn supercar. You really need to use first. Miles per hour in like the middle of first gear. How ridiculous is this? These seats, yeah, I don't know. They're supportive. They're not very comfortable. I can feel the little knots in them, like the circles. They feel like they're digging into my back a little bit. And I gotta say, that's not something I want to feel for hours and hours on end. But they're not bad. They actually feel like, you know, good lumbar support. It's just that those little metal notches, they do dig into your back a bit. Maybe just wear a thick sweater, you'll be fine. Great. I mean, you just settle it on throttle. It's such a happy car. Thank you guys so much for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel by watching the videos, by signing up for the Patreon. You know, my Patreon, it's not designed so you're out there giving me 20 bucks a month. I just, give me $1. You know, if you get enough people giving you $1 because they're just like, hey, I believe in you, and I believe in you $1's worth every month. That's all I need, man. That'll keep me going. That'll keep the fuel flowing in some brutal machines like this. Don't forget to respect the drive, whether you're driving a Honda Civic or a Ford GT. I'll see you in the next one. You do notice the weight just a little bit. I mean, yeah, it's not a lightweight. But I guess that's gonna make it really settled at speed, you know? Sitting at 200 miles an hour is gonna be no problem for it.